Hey ladies, it's Jean-Marc. This is your female chorus tutorial. There aren't a lot of colors that we're going to be using or a lot of products in this. It's fairly simple and straightforward. It's a very pretty makeup. Everything is made to be beautiful. We're looking for clean skin. And the lines are in the eyebrow, around the eye with the wing, a little bit of color in there. And we're going to be focusing also on the lip. Those are going to be our three big focus areas: the brow, the lining, and the lip. So there's nothing much in the cheek. There's going to be some contouring and highlighting. I'm going to take you through all of that. Now, what we're going to be using is we're going to be using a foundation. Now, there's different colors throughout, so I'm not going to give you guys the name of the product, but these are the foundations. Then we'll have a highlighting product. So there's the highlight. It's the P4, and it's a cream. Now, we're also using our contour. Now, there are different contours as well. So I'm not going to be naming those, but those are the brown that's kind of a bit on the red tone as well. There are different shades, and a contouring brush. And for our lips, we're going to be using either the Maryland red or the Russian red, and a lip brush. And then as a little bit of color in the cheek, just so that we have some, blood flow in our cheeks, there's this pink blush and brush to go with it. Now the foundation we're going to apply, this is a cake foundation, so cake foundations don't apply dry. They're going to be applied wet. So you take your sponge and you just kind of wring out most of the moisture. You just want it to be damp. It shouldn't be sopping wet, otherwise it's going to leave weird streaking and things like that. So you just kind of run it over the cake, and it's going to start mixing with the water that's left in there, and cover your sponge up, and then you just start applying your foundation over your entire face. Now, some of these foundations might be darker than you think. They don't need to be applied opaque. What we're looking for is to have some nice... What you want to see is that you basically have a tan. So if your foundation looks like it's way too dark, that's because you've applied it too heavy. You do get a fair amount of product control with these foundations, where you can get a nice sheer foundation to a medium sheer to a full opaque. Now, we're going kind of for the medium sheer unless you're really, really pale, in which case you would go for a little sheerer. So I'm just getting the foundation all over my face, getting it on the ears as well, because we don't want those to stand out. And if you have a very low neckline, you're going to go all the way down to where that neckline is. So I'm going to go up to where my neckline is, and blending it down. It, again, does not have to be opaque. Down into there. In fact, it should be fading into nothing. There we go. So I'm just going over to double check that I haven't done anything. See, you can see the difference between my hairline and right in there where it's paler. So it's just boosted up my tone, which is going to take care of all those lights that Bill is putting up for us. Now, stage lights do a great job of illuminating us, but as far as our faces go, they also take out a lot. So that's why we're putting something that's darker. We want to have it have some life in our face. Next, I'm taking our highlight and the brush that I'm using for that. So I'm just laying it thick on there, and I apply it to the back of my hand as my palette, so that I could get a nice clean edge on my brush, but also so I'm not putting gobs of makeup on my face, and then I'm stuck having it in the wrong place. So the first place I'm going to put it is going to be on my cheekbone. So I'm starting kind of at the top of the apple, and I'm going all the way to the end. One of my biggest pet peeves is cheekbones that float. What I mean to say is that some people, you'll see this a lot on stage, they end their cheekbone kind of right here, and then all of this part is ignored. That's a floating cheekbones. Cheekbones do not float in this world. So we're going all the way back on both sides. Okay. Then we're also going down the bridge of the nose. up to the tip. We're just staying on the top of the nose. You don't want to go over onto the sides. Going on over to the sides is going to broaden your nose, ladies. And really, we don't want to broaden noses and reshape. We want to keep the face you have and just really make it stand out and look beautiful. So then I'm going kind of right in the middle of the highlight, right? Now, if you have a short forehead, kind of keeping it broad and very long, or sorry, narrow and very long is going to help with you. I just need it kind of right in the dead center here so that it's going to catch sunlight. I'm also going to put some just underneath the chin right in here. Okay. And now a couple more areas. I'm going to basically block out the outside corner of my brow. The reason I'm doing this is in the 50s, the brow is very important. My brow is especially dark, so it doesn't read quite as well on me. But most of you ladies will have a lot thinner of a brow than I do, so this shouldn't be a problem. So what you do is you go backwards against the grain of the hair, and then you're going to draw back over top of it. Okay? So that this blocks your brow. And then you're repeating on the other side. And then back. Now you're also going to grab the brow bone as part of that highlight, right? Because we want a nice brightness. This is going to really help open your eye. So right on the brow bone, you'll see that. It's the part that's sticking out. Highlights always go on parts that stick out. Or as I like to call them, the hard areas, right? So we got it on the bridge of the nose. We got it on the cheekbones, we got it on the chin, we got it here. We're also going to shape it onto our lids, because that's something that in this design, the lids are nice and bright. We want a lot of brightness in that lid. So you're going to go and shape your lid with your highlight. If you need more color, reapply on the back of your hand, from the back of your hand. Okay, so now we're going to do some blending because we're not going on stage with our highlights looking like this. So you want to blend all the outside edges so that they are soft, which means we don't see a hard line between where the makeup is and where the foundation is, right? Soft transition. We want to keep the intensity of the cream to where it is. We're just getting rid of that edge. You see, so it stays intense, but it looks like it fades into nothing, and they're small, small transitions. Teeny tiny transitions. On the cheek, we could lose a little bit of that intensity, right? Just so I'm picking up just the cheekbone right in there, and that gets blended down both edges, so it's very soft. It's just picking up the light right in there. Okay, and then down the bridge of the nose as well, we could afford to lose some of the intensity. And then we're going to blend on the other cheekbone. Soft edges, right? We don't want to see a hard line. Hard lines in makeup are used to create wrinkles, and we're not creating a wrinkled face here. We do not need to create wrinkles on the stage for this show. Not in the chorus in any case. We all want to look young and beautiful. So there you go. So that is sufficiently blended. I'm just going to get this last one in here. And that's the highlights all blended in. All right, so the highlights go in the middle of the forehead, down the bridge of the nose, on the superciliary arch, the brow bone, and on the cheekbones, chin, and again, the nose. Next, we're taking our contours, which is a powder. The one that I'm using right now is Spice. Now this, again, goes up to the ear, right underneath your cheekbone. Now, if you're not sure where it should go, feel with your hands where your cheekbone is. It starts right in here, underneath the ridge, and it goes all the way up, kind of to the apple. So I'm going to go right in there, and I'm going to replicate that line. I'm leaving, purposefully, a gap between the two, right? Because this is catching the top of the bone, and this is catching the bottom. And I'm kind of just, do you feel where there's a hollow where your teeth are? That's I'm kind of bringing the color right into there a bit as well. That's where I'm blending it out, ladies. So I've got my color right in there. I'm taking it right off the palette and I'm blending it into that hollow. And I want to make sure that these edges are soft as well. No hard lines. Okay, so that's the first side. Now, on the other side, I'm doing the same thing. So I'm going right up to the apple, and then all the way back, and then I'm filling the hollow within that area. And then I'm going to go over and blend. You could use your brush to blend, or if you feel more comfortable, you could use a sponge that you've brought to blend as well, to get rid of those hard edges. There you go. Now, the other place that gets a shadow is right under your lip. Now, ladies, especially when we're singing, this is going to really help because this makes our lip look a little poutier right underneath. So you put it underneath the lip, right up to that shadow point, or the highlight point that we put in, because that's a natural squishy part. Highlights go into hard parts, shadows go into squishy parts. So next squishy part we're going to go right around the nair. Right? So I'm just getting some color just right around there. There we go. So that's the one side. Get your other nair. So where I'm going is, there is a natural dimple in your nose where the nair connects to the bridge. I'm starting from that point and I'm going around just to the front. I don't want to connect it into the nostril. I just kind of want to put a little evidence that, you know, there's a little more shape to it right in there. And that's also going to be a soft edge on the outside, no hard edges. Next we go along the side of the line. Now, if your highlight's done right, you can simply follow your highlight to do the side of your nose, and then this blends just out a little bit gently towards the eye socket, the edge of the eye socket. And then up to the brow. So I went back from where I started at the nose, and I'm bringing up into the brow, because this is a shadow spot as well. And right here in the corner. Not onto the lid, but right in the corner, which is the deepest spot in the eye. So that's all in shadow. I'm going to do that again on the other side. So I'm following that edge that I left from the highlight along the bridge of my nose. And then I'm just slightly blending it out. And you see I'm blending it from here towards here. And even up down in here towards here. Going lower than that, you're starting to get into your cheek area, ladies. And we want to keep those cheeks looking nice and fresh for when we're going to put a little bit of blush on there. Now, we have one more spot. We're going to put this in. And that's just gently, a little bit right in the temple area. Right? So if you're not quite sure where to put it, again, think shadows go in the squishy area. So if it feels squishy, it doesn't feel like bone dense, then that's where you're putting the color, right? And then right in here as well. Now, if you want, you can also go and help shape a little bit and go around the hairline just a little more as well. And I lied. There's one last area, lady, and this is my favorite because it helps to hide everything you have underneath your jawline. It cleans everything right up, and it makes everything look really nice and sharp. So I'm feeling my jawline. You feel that point where it makes the angle going up your face? Well, we're kind of going to catch that corner. Okay? And I'm going right along the jawbone. I could feel with my brush where my jawbone is. And so I'm following that with the color. And I'm filling it in. And then, again on the other side. Following that. And this is wonderful because in my case, this takes off that extra weight I really don't like in my face. And then you see I'm bringing it down. For me, it's easy because I have an Adam's apple, but it's also where the transition ends between like the chin into the throat. So I'm filling up that whole area with this shadow color. At this point, you would take your powder, and you're going to put your powder all over your face. Just a translucent powder is going to do the trick. And that's going to set the cream that you've put on your face for the highlight. And it's going to help make sure that you've blended all your powder as well. It's going to take care of getting rid of all those hard edges that may have stayed behind. So you're going to powder and make sure you have a nice blending brush or powder brush to do that. Now, onto the brow. The brow is going to be very important. We do the brow first in the eye. The brow is 2 parallel lines. So I'm following my own, and I'm going to go just a little bit. So there's my arch, and I'm going up above it just a little. And then I'm going to do a parallel line. I'm going to try to tame my brow a little bit. I'm going to do a parallel line to it.